Hello and welcome to the first session on mindful art. Over the year I'm going to do different techniques, but this is the first one just to get you going on here. It's a nice little technique called Zentangles. Now Zentangles are a form of mindful art in that you have to really concentrate to be able to sort of like produce the work. You sort of go into a moment, you can be thinking about all sorts of things and you can drift off and then come back into the moment. You shouldn't be talking, so there's no talking. There should be as quiet as possible. Background music's great, headphones are great, or if you're just being silent. Anything that just takes you away from this position, you're going to detract from it. So it's best just to give yourself some quiet space and to be able to do this. Okay, let's have a go. So we're going to start off with a shape. So having to be precious about this, I'm just going to draw a shape on there. Now I'm going straight for pen on here because I like to do that. But if you're feeling nervous about going straight for pen, first time you do this, use a pencil first and then go for it in pen afterwards. If it's making you stressful and stressed, then don't do that. Do something else instead. So here we go. I'm going to split this up into sections. So I've just got 4 sections to start with. And we're going to start to produce some patterns. So I'm just going to start with a very simple checkerboard. And if you go wrong, it doesn't matter. The whole point of this is we make mistakes and we see what we can do to change it. So I've drawn these. They're not all exactly right, but it doesn't matter. That's fine. We're going to then put little diamonds onto each of these. I'm going to colour them in. And take your time, don't rush. Just take your time and work your way through these. Think about people, friends, family. Think of that warm place, the place you know you like to sit in your home or outside. That gives you that nice feeling. You don't quite know what it is, but it just feels right. I'm building these up slowly. I'm just going to take my time on this. You can take as long as you want or as quick as you want. Nearly finished. And there's lots of information on the internet about Zentangles and how to produce them. And once you get your pattern, the one you like doing most, you can do it anywhere and anything. This is a what's called a tricycle orb. It's made from one piece of paper, and it's got some Zentangles I drew onto here on the back. And finally, these bits. So it started to come together on these bits. That's my first one onto here. I'm going to do something slightly different for the next one. I'm going to do you see that I've not quite got that right, but that doesn't matter. I'm going to colour in this in a minute. And it's almost, you're getting rid of that idea of perfection. You're just drawing. And as you get close then, just look back. Is there any things that you've done down here that you can just think, actually, if I just filled in that gap there, will that make that look a bit smarter? And building forward. This can make nice cards and thank you cards and birthday cards for people. Even if you just do one or two and spend some time in them and photograph them up onto card. It's a bit cheaper than Moonpig. And I'm using a fibre pen, but ballpoint pens are just as good. These bits. I'll just quickly do this so we're not waiting too long on this. There we go. And I might just do something in the back because it looks a bit plain. So let's have a think about what I might do. Reverse dots. So these are white dots. I've got some black dots going through the centre. The spacing is not great, but again, it doesn't matter. It's there. I'll thicken the lines up. So we've got our first bits done in here. I'm not going to fill in these up bins. I'm going to put some links to some Zentangles that you may want to do, may want to practice with on your own. So I'm going to show you another technique now. This is one I do most often. This is my go-to doodle on here. So if I had, say my initial. So there, it could be anything, could be love hearts, or anything like that, could be random shapes, it doesn't matter what you do here. Now this technique relies on just one rule, and I'll show you the rule. You draw any shape, like this, and the rule is the next shape has to link in. Doesn't have to link in totally, so it's got a little white border goes around the whole. Well, add a curve on there, and this one has to be curved as well. And you can build up a pattern relatively quickly, as long as you're not too precious about where you want it to go. You might go wrong slightly like that. I meant to go straight there, but it's fine. And then and you can see it's sort of linking up together. With this one, you can actually start to put a bit of colour in as well. Zentangles tend to be black and white. They don't have to be, there's no rules on it. They just tend to be. But these look really good, a bit of colour. So as you're colouring, to get that depth of intensity of colour, you don't necessarily press on harder. What you do is you just keep going over in different directions, so your pencil's going in different directions, and what that does, that fills in the white space, which makes it seem much more intense. Orange, so a quick covering of colour on the areas, and then start to change direction. I'm not pressing on any harder, because you don't want any stress in yourself, so if you're pressing really hard with your your wrist pressing down, then you're building tension up. And you don't want that, that's the last thing you want. So you start to colour these in. And here again, I'm not pressing on, I'm just letting the pencil do the work. It starts to build up the colour. And they look quite very effective once they're finished off. I used to do a really nice one with my New Year sixes that came in on their induction day for secondary school. And we used to do one with their handprint. So you draw around your hand and you build this up, and then they took it away to do over the summer. So that's building up nicely in the colour there. So that's another technique there. So that's two techniques I've given you so far. That's the final one I'll show you. And this is called something called a line paradox. And you can do these with a ruler or freehand. I personally think they look best freehand, but I'm going to show you the ruler version first, just so you can have a practice, and as you get better at it, you can do that. If you're using a ruler, just be careful using ink that you don't spread it across as you're working. If you're going to worry about that, if you turn the ruler upside down, they're designed to be curved like this at the top. So when you turn it upside down, the ink has got room to run underneath. So there, so it won't smudge. There we go. So I've got a nice shape here. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go from one point down to here. So I've come in a little bit. I've got a little diagonal going there. And the rule to this one is you just keep following on from the last bit you've drawn. The trick with this as well is to concentrate so you know where the last one's just gone. Because sometimes when you get closer into the middle, you can't always remember which was the last one you did. So a bit of concentration. And it's called a line paradox, because although you're only using straight lines, we're going to create some curved objects with those lines. It's starting to come together. And you can just start to see the curve happening down here, just coming together. Nearly there. And I'm just going to go freehand for the last bit. There, and you can see these beautiful curves building up just with straight lines. From this side, I'm going to turn it upside down because I find that easy to do. I'm going to go anti-clockwise this way. I'm going to start to work my way around, but backwards. And it's slowly building up. And these look really impressive as tiles. So if you make one of these and then tile another one next to it, as in like a tessellation. And I have students who really love this sort of precision mindfulness because you do have to concentrate. Some find it very frustrating. They can't quite understand what's happening. And that's okay. If it's not mindful for you, then it's not working. To find another technique. And if you look, so like you get these beautiful shapes on both sides coming around on here, and that's just drawn with straight lines. Okay, so that's 3 examples I've given you just to get you going on mindful art. There's the line paradox, there's the doodly, colory, jigsawy piece thing, and then there's the Zentangles. So there's 3 things to be having a go at. Enjoy.